Njengamanje ke ngizonicela ngokukhulu kuyithoba ukuthi ispeaker sethu esilandelayo ngenxa yokuthi siwulo muntu oyena sihanjele uyena kumele simamukele ngedrama nyana so sizosukuma ngiyacela ngifuna sihloniphe ukuthi ubani salusidedela DJ Can you please give a round of applause for Dr. Mbongeni Ngema? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, DJ. Quickly, Baba siyabonga ukuthi uphakathi kwethu. Dr. Mbongeni Ngema is a South African writer, lyricist, composer, director, choreographer, and a theater producer. He is the one who wrote and produced the multi-award-winning musical Usarafina, and he is the one who wrote Lomdlalo esifunda ngawo kangaka esikoleni iWoza Albert. Ladies and gents, let us give a round of applause for Dr. Mbongeni Ngema.
Sanibonani nonke. Thank you very much, all the dignitaries that are in the house tonight. I will not mention them by name because I came a bit late, so I'm not quite sure who's here or not, but I know that we have distinguished visitors from the west of this continent. Good afternoon. Mine is to talk about, thank you very much, Siswami. Mine is to talk about what we call entertainment. I'll be very, very brief in my presentation. As you can see, I did not prepare any slides. You know, I was looking at that beautiful presentation that was made about housing and food security, and it blew my mind. I just said, wow, I want to be part of that. Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation. I want to talk about entertainment. You know, every year I go to New York City in the beginning of the year because I so happen to be exposed in the field that I am in more than a lot of other Africans to get to understand how they monetize entertainment. Maskulu wakwazi ukuthi basibuza bathi manje wena mfana wenzani eGoli sithi hayi cha baba siyadlala ngiyadlala nisuka la emakhaya eNatal niyeGoli niyodlala because our field is called play. So when we used to try and explain to elderly people that no, we're playing. No, but when I went to work, when are you going to stop playing and start working? They did not associate playing a guitar or playing a trumpet or playing a keyboard. They did not associate it with working. But we have progressed so much in this country. And yet a lot of our people do not understand that entertainment is a business, which is why it is called show business. It is actually a multi-billion business. Now you will agree with me that when you look at countries like the United States of America and look at the amount of money that gets generated through entertainment, we all buy their products. Michael Jackson, right now Beyonce, you know, and entertainment is part of the fabric of society, in as much as we need food to eat, but we need culture to sustain humanity, to sustain our souls. And that is why it is a business. I want to, talk briefly about, to take a corner at our history. Unfortunately, because we are at the bottom of the ladder, we are the last country to be liberated in Africa, South Africa. We were not exposed to these things, we as African people. Yet we are in Africa, we consume a lot of entertainment. Someone was talking about Wakanda recently, just now on the stage, and that is what the whole world consumed, and that movie made so much money. And I also want to talk about how do we package these things, how people were talking here about crowdfunding. I started by saying I go to New York every beginning of the year, because when you go there at ISPA, there is a festival. So many different plays take place there, and you have producers as many as we are in this house. And each one of those producers is saying, which product can I buy? Which product can I invest in? It happens every year. It's like a flea market. People come and they bid and say, which plays can I get my colleagues? And we do crowdfunding, we take it to Off-Broadway, we take it on tour in the United States, and then ultimately when it has built a name, we then move it to Broadway. Now, places like Broadway in New York and the West End in London, that is like a cradle of entertainment. And I'm starting with theater because theater has got a long life, more than music, more than movies, more than television. When you have got a play, it can literally, I mean, right now, we started working on The Lion King in 1993 when I was recording with the guys that came from Disney. We were recording at Bob when we still had Bob Recording Studios, which was among the best 3 studios in the world. And we all went to Moputatswana. We stayed there for a month recording the soundtrack, the score for Lion King. More than 20 years after that, Lion King has grossed over $20 billion at box office. Just people buying tickets to come and see the show. And the soundtrack, one of the songs that are in that soundtrack is a song that was composed by a man from Msinga, Solomon Linda Wawantsele. That song was written in 1939. He was in Johannesburg working there, Mashanyela. And Eric Gallo spotted him and he took him to the studio with his group, the Evening Birds, and they recorded that song, Imbube. He was paid 10 shillings for that song. And he died a poor man. In fact, the whole band died poor. But that song was then taken to America and was reproduced by a group called the Wavelets. It became an immediate international hit, and because they could not pronounce Imbube, they could not say Wimbube, Wimbube, so to them it sounded like Wimawe, Wimawe, and that's how they sang it. And it made millions and millions. And now, I've just read that it is used in The Lion King as well. Last year it grossed $15 million, that song. That one song. Last year alone. So now you can understand when I talk about entertainment as a business, what do I mean? But because we have been oppressed for so long in this country, we are not privy to that kind of information. So why am I standing here? I am saying there are a lot of incredible products that are around us, even in this city where we are right now. You just take a walk through the Playhouse one day and see what happens there. These young people have got incredible products. If they can be packaged, and we get people that are willing to invest, especially people of this color. Will you invest in one project? Out of 20 or 30 or 50, we identify one and we say, this one can make money. Not only will it make money for the creator, but it will make money for the team that's working around it, and it will make a lot of money for the investors. And we take it, we get experts like myself who know what makes money, to prune it and package it and take it around the country, take it to places like London and Japan and everywhere, and hopefully it can end up on the West End or Broadway. One, in 5 years, just one. So I'm here to say there are opportunities that are available for us to invest in entertainment. I'm just talking about theater now, but I'm also going to move on to films. You know, you've seen Netflix is in the country right now. It's not by mistake that Netflix is here in Africa. Amazon is here to compete with Netflix. What are they competing for? They're competing for our stories. When I grew up, we used to watch movies, John Wayne, Richard Widmark, on the big screen in the movies. There were not black people on the big screen. And then later on, we started seeing films about, like in this country, Mabunu, Simon Mabunu, Sabela, Mbongeni Ngema, and overseas, we started seeing Sidney Poitier, and the list is endless. Today we've got Denzel Washington. I mean, Denzel, to get him for a movie today, we've got to be prepared to pay him at least $20 million just to show his face on the screen. So it means the budget for that movie can't be less than $100 million. If Denzel alone is going to earn $20 million. So black people now, it's fashionable to see black faces on the screen. That's why movies like Wakanda have made so much money, because suddenly America has realized that yet we've got a pool of black people in this country. If we make black movies, we make movies that they identify with. It means that the black African Americans are going to pay dollars to go to the cinemas to watch movies, and later on they're going to download the movies. That's why there's so many black American movies now on our screens. And certainly, the reason why Amazon, Netflix, and all these companies are in South Africa now, in particular South Africa more than the rest of the continent, because why? Because we've got infrastructure in this country to make movies. What they have in America, we have it in this country. We've got film studios, we've got recording studios, we've got the best cameras that can compete with cameras they have in America and England. And it's cheaper here because they pay in rands. To make a movie in America, you pay dollars, and in England you pay in pounds. Here, the same movie that would cost $100 million in America, you can do it here with 100 million rands and produce the same quality. And we've got settings, I mean, KwaZulu, Natal, this is the best place to make movies because of the kind of scenery that we have. And making movies today, thanks to our government, because they've made it easier for us, because there are instruments that we can use to finance movies so that it does not entirely depend on the investor's pocket to make a movie. We've got institutions like the DTI, they give now 50% rebate on movies that are made by the previously disadvantaged communities like ourselves. So we've got a big EE rebate that is up to 50% for a South African made movie. And then over and above that, you've got channels like OETV where they can take 30% of the stake. Actually, what you need today from a private investor to make a movie in South Africa is only 10% of the entire budget. So if your movie is 10 million rands, all you need from a private investor or a crowdfunding from people like us, if it's 10 million, all you need is $1 million rand. And then the rest of the money is available through these instruments that are here in this country today. So the long and short of it, I am saying through Amandla Omnotho, I am part of this family, and I am encouraging Yashela, our business community must look at entertainment as a business, and there are opportunities to invest in this business. For further information, through Amandla Omnotho, we can communicate.
I'd like to honor one of our guests, Mbongeni Ngema, with a piece, a poetry. It's a spoken word. It's a poetry. I'd like to explain background, so else
you get lost in amazwi ayo. It's a poetry that speaks of Africa. It puts Africa emzimbeni womuntu wesifazane ogqilazekile. Waqilizwa umuntu okade emthembise uthando. So wagcina egqilazekile kanjalo uAfrika. Igama ekuphunywa ngayo lo muntu wesifazane kugcinwa ebizwa ngenyumba. Not understanding ukuthi umuntu omgqilazile is the very same person okade emthembisa ukuthi uzomthanda. So this man gives Africa igama, noma this man gives unkosikazi wakhe igama lokuthi uyinyumba. When she's not, she has 4 kids previously. So Africa ngimbathisa umzimba walo muntu wesifazane for people who listen to poetry ukuthi ba relate to the poem, but relate with the deeper meaning behind the words. But basically it is speaking of Africa, Mother Africa as a whole, and how she has labored to give us fruits. And we've taken fruits and then at the end we called her infertile, or we called her and described her as umuntu who does not have fruits to bear. We have so many resources. I recently watched a movie that was recommended by Mr. Mbongeni Ngema, a workshop that I attended at the Playhouse. It is a movie that speaks of colonization of Congo. It speaks of how Africa labored so hard to give fruits, but the lama fruits they were taken advantage of was Wabangazuti Congo has no resources. So this poem basically covers that. She lies awake at night. Her body aches in a poem that she's yet to learn how to write. She awaits for a moment. Any moment from now when she and darkness will mate. She will joyfully give birth to art. See, poetry took its first breath on her thighs and she was so glad. She'll hold him tightly close to her chest. Close enough to kill him and even closer enough to resurrect him back to life. Breastfeeding him with boldness, she nurtures him for the soul. Teaching him to be heard when he speaks, as she's told herself never to let him die, even if it is within her own arms, and she covers him with glory. And every morning, just a moment who laid her tongue, inhaling life from the breath of her soul, she utters a song in a native language. She utters a song in a native language and she says, Ndodana yami kush ebintungu. Uma kwenzeka ilanga limxosha uyihlo sengiyagcoba wena ukuba ube yithemba lezinyembezi zami. Usiyakuba ihubo elimnandi eliyawudambisa inhlungu zakulomshado mbeke ndodana uyihlo akasasifuni. Isimningi iminyaka ndodana lishona ngomhlane wakhe kowami nephunga lendlovukazi engaphesheya kwesiziba sabadala mbheke useqoniwe. Ngibhekeke mina kumakhosikazi endawo ngindlovukazi ngegama ngumfazi ongenanzalo phela uyihlo wakhetha ukulamanisa ngehlazo. Ihlazo lamadodana angazalanga agcina ngokuba imbewu ezasulwa sasicamele kubumnandi bakulomshado kulomuzi kuthiwa angizalanga. Ubaba uSothole uNgwane wakhala wathi indodana thatha nazi inkomo zakho kodwa mina ngimile ngithi soze ngabuyela ekhaya. Ndodana phela wena wazi laluluhle usuku isibhakabhaka sivunule ngenyanga sinoyihlo sivumelana. Sithi thina sabaphakade lolu olwaphakade lwalotshwa emaphakadeni phakade lothando lwami idlozi lakiya ngezanusi ingoma yathamela isicaki laluluhle usuku ndodana yami. Umnyumba ngithweswe yiyo le ndoda eyavumela inkanuko ukuba ivule ingubo ingene kulomshado kodwa leli hlazo sengiyakulithwala emahlombe ami nginyuke unqamlezo ihubo sensina lizibethela emahlombe ami kulomuzi ngiyophuma ngiyisidumbu noyihlo uyazi. Wangikhetha yena nabadala bafakaza ngangena ngiyitshitshi ngithwele umbondo wentokozo ngisize ungakhali ndodana. Ukhushi igama lakho uyindodana eqotho yomAfrika. Thabatha amandla kule nkondlo mina nawe sizimbongi kanjalo nawe. Mhlazane ukufa leli soka elihle selinqhelisa ngomendo ongcono wena uyokumhlangabeza kwelikaMathongo. Uyakumbongela ngenkondlo emnandi yakhushi indodana eyazalwa umAfrika. U-Afrika owagqilazwa okwakumele amthande utheme isimgqilazile wabukela emuva wambiza ngenyumba. This is the most powerful song she's ever sung. Her name is Africa.